Good morning, welcome back to Life of Dave. It's Tuesday morning and we're down the boat, so hoping to get some done today, get me lockers in. I've got to crack on and make it happen really. Hopefully I can get that all in today. That would be nice, and then I've just got to glass it all in place, get it all finished and faired up and make it look pretty. But, you know, if I can get them stuck in, that would be a bonus. So last time we were down, I done a load of sanding. I cut loads of it out. I just left the camera rolling. I thought I can't post that. It was about an hour of sanding on video. So I had to cut it down and cut it down and cut it down. I think we got it down to about 15 minutes in the end. But damn, yeah, I can't post me sanding for hours. Who's going to watch that? Right, so we've still got that one locker there. I've got two more to go in. This bit's all sanded where that's going. This bit here needs a bit more sanding. We're going to do that later. You can see, I don't know if you can see there, just about pick that up, little shiny spots. There you go, you can see that. So each of those little shiny spots there is a low spot. So these are all low spots, which, that's not terrible, they're only small. But if I was to put fairing compound over that or paint over it or anything like that, it'll all stick to most of this. But all these low spots where they're shiny, it won't actually bond properly. You won't get a good bond between the two surfaces. There's no tooth there for it to bite on, no keyed surface. And eventually what will happen is that'll peel, or if it was filler, it'll pop and split, pop out. The boat's going to be flexing. It's fiberglass, it moves, it flexes. Yeah, the filler will end up popping, or the paint will end up peeling, and you'll end up having to sand it all down and redo it again. And that's what I don't want. That's why I'd rather take my time and do it properly and make it look nice first time. It's got to look a darn sight better than it did. This is the finish that was on it. Hopefully this is more the finish that I've got. It's got a slight texture to it. It's not 100%. But it's a darn sight better than that. Even this is a little bit rough for me still, really. But once I'm finished, it'll look nice. It'll all be faired in, and I'll be happy with that. If it just looks reasonably flat and smooth without loads of little blemishes in it, I can't bring my brain to look at it. I bought the wrong boat, really. It's got far too many flaws for my brain to cope with. But anyway, it is what it is. It's a project, and it's enabled me to learn quite a lot about what I'm doing. I've had a lot to overcome and get round and work out and all the rest of it. Rebuilding all the lockers that had all been cut up and stuff. The old cooker that was in the top, and the top was knackered. I've had to cut all the top out and replace that. This one, someone had cut the cupboard up into pieces and then popped it back together with some wooden battens and stuff in it. It just looked a damn mess. So I've sorted all that out. That's all done. But for now, I've got to get these done and then get on with the other side. Right, enough waffle, let's crack on. Right, it's 10 to 11 and I've done a grand total of absolutely naffle. My mate turned up, come down and see us, so we've been talking. I've been showing him all what I've done and all the rest of it. So it's good to talk, but I need to crack on now. But yeah, it's nice to see your mates, show them what you're up to. You could see what I was doing and why it's taking so long. I've got a lot to do. Right, now I need to get on. Anyway, nice to see you, buddy. You can watch this one later. So we'll get some work done, and I've got more work with editing videos and all the rest of it. What I need to do for now is get this cleaned up. Should have brought me Hoover. Oh. Need to make this easier. I will have to bring my Hoover down eventually. We'll suck all the dust out of here. Try to get rid of as much out of here as I can before I seal it up. So I just had a look at my hinges and stuff this morning. There's roughly 5 mil, so the bolts that I was looking at to hold these hinges on look like they come in 6 mil and 10 mil are the shorter ones that they do. 6 mil won't be long enough. I'll only have 1 mil sticking through, and that's depending on if there's a variance in thickness. You know what I mean? 1 mil is not enough. I could countersink them, drop them in and all that, but That's taking strength out of the thickness of the glass. So I think what I'll end up going for is the 10mm. Some stainless little bolts, stainless washers, stainless nuts on the back, maybe Nylox or something, so that they don't come undone. Right, so what would you do with this? Got to cut that down that line. Yeah, so I've got to cut that down. So I've got acetone everything in a minute. Get that stuck in there. Now I've got to take this door off the front. Hold it in place. Less weight on there, the better. I'll bridge that gap under there. Set that in place. So there's a gap under the bottom where that's angled, so I've got to put a bit in there to bridge that. What I'm going to do is get this cut down so that's ready to go. There we go, just remove me door off of there, get rid of that, so it's a little less weight, and I can also get inside to put the filler in without having to mess around opening the door. Right, there's my strip cut down, so that will go in the top there. That makes me little door shut, or a door stopper for something for the door to sit on. Also thickens up the top a little bit, gives it a bit more bulk to stick to the surface up there. So that will go in there, and that will go up to the top. A bit of a gap up the back. I could have left a little bit there, but it's not too bad. Standing on that. Right, that is acetone. Get the stick in. That's done. Now I've got a little scrap there to make the angle with. What I'll do with that is, because these two are fitting together, they sort of fit like that, so it leaves a gap at the bottom. So what we'll do with that is stick a bit in there to bridge that gap. So when they go together, the bit that's going to go in there, that will go up against there. So I've got to extend that so it looks something like that underneath. Just to take up that gap, I'll shave that down to size when I'm ready. Get that in. Right, first off, let's get the little section here stuck in. Find that in place, then I can work out exactly where that one goes. Right, I might just put a bit of glass around it whilst it's in there. This is that brush that I cleaned last week. You can see it's gone crunchy, but it's still sort of moving. It's still softish underneath. Acetone. Right, a couple of little dips in there, look. Swirl that around. And that brush is absolutely perfect. Look at that. It's like brand new again. Soft as you like. Nothing wrong with it at all. I could even paint with that, yeah. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. I'm going to be using it for reglassing a couple of bits. It's perfectly fine for that, and slapping gel coat over like as a rough coat to sand. Yeah, I'm not going to use it as a top coat, but you could if that's all you had. Wait a second so I can get to the other side. Alright, that's going in there. Like so. Now we've got to get some bonding paste on this and get it fixed in place. That's my contact on the back there, that side there, and the back side at the front there. And we're going to have to radius all the corners in where we've got a glass when we stick the other bits in. So, alright, let's see if we can get that in place. Mixed up way more than I needed at this time. We'll use it up somewhere. Needs to be a radius into the corners so that I can glass it. Won't, as we know, glass 90 degrees. Of course I don't want to glass in air bubbles, so I want it as smooth as I can get it. We'll be sanding this lot under here, getting that all flat and level afterwards, so a bit of filler under there. Worried about any little over spilled bits, that'll all be sanded when we do that. This is the bit where it's going to be really awkward to get to, so take off that excess, job's a good one. I'll leave that like that, it's off there. Okay, drop in it. Before this lot goes off, I'll get that stuck on there. It ain't going to last long now, it's going to start kicking off and we'll be scuppered. I don't want to waste all of that. Ideally, crank this up would be better, but hopefully that will do me for that bit. Stick that in there. Go in there. Once we glass that in place, it won't move, so that'll be fine. Let's just set the angle on that. That's good there. That's good. Right. I know that's where it goes. I'll just press that down firmly. Squidge it in place. Recheck it. So now it's tight to where it's going. I don't want it to start drying in the wrong place. That's the glass, there's no edge there, a little bit of filler over that will do that. Now this is ready to stick up there. Bonding paste. Top there, acts like a filler. Got quite a bit to build up on that top section. This is starting to not go off, but it's certainly, it's changed colour, it's gone grey, so you know it's going off. So I'm just trying to get this on quickly. Get a little build up there, because this is starting to go off a bit. It means it won't be as long before it sets and starts holding it in place. I need to knock up a wee bit more of that. So let's just get that on there for now. I'll squeeze some into that edge. And we can put that straight up. We are getting there. Second one going in. So I'll mix this up. Not strong, but you know, catalysed it quite well. You know, you can't over catalyse it, but I have put plenty in this. It's not cold today, but I have put a bit more catalyst in it than I usually would, I'd say. Just a couple more drops, purely because I want it to go off quite quick, because I want this to set in place so that it's done and it's not sliding around. The longer that's got sitting there not to be able to move, you know, if it can move on me, it's going to make life awkward. I don't want it taking all day to set up. I want it to go on and go off pretty quickly so that it holds it in place and I can get on. If I'm sitting there waiting for hours for it to dry, you know, I can't get on with anything else. Hopefully this won't take all day. It will go off enough that I can start on the next section without this falling down and sliding around and moving on me. So on the other side, look, like I say, I need to radius both sides. It's quite thin on the back here, so you're not going to get much meat behind it. A bit down at the front. A bit of there. Not a great deal, but the underneath I can fill in afterwards, that's no problem. Right, let's get the rest along that line there. There's the black mark gone, it's there. So we're going up to there, are we? I'll get a bit behind where it's sitting. There's plenty there to work around in. So. A line down there, down that middle of that seam. Okay. Like so, squeeze that in with thingy. Thingy's good for those little tight radius areas. Oh, let's get that in there, squeeze that in there, get it into place. Forward there a bit. Well, it's holding itself up at the moment, so always a good sign. Just trying to make sure this is squeezed into place. This ain't like a final filler in, you know what I mean, before doing anything. This will probably set up and sand it and then glass it, you know. But the fact that this all needs to be sanded, glassed and faired in, doesn't really matter what it looks like, as long as I just get rid of all the little voids and stuff now so that I can do that afterwards. There we go, that's that. I'll cut excess if I can. any excess you can remove like that means less sanding, good thing. Just smooth that out, and then I can just run a bit of paper over it. You know, I ain't got to take off any high spots and lumps. That's perfect then, isn't it? So, fill up that V. Using your fingers, it does start getting very sticky. That's good at the back of there. Excess coming out there, really. Don't want to go south in and out. It's gone grey. It's starting to set. So I wanted it to set and hold it in place, but I didn't smooth that out quick enough inside. The thicker this is, the quicker it goes off. So that is a bit more in there over the top of that to radius that inside. I forgot the bottom alright. The inside bit's just gone off on me. So scrape that out. Excess up there. Past where I'm working, because that will dry and I'll have to sand that out. I need a little bit more fillet to do the inside radius. It's in now. This isn't going to go off that quick that I can't go over the top of this just yet. But I will have to do a bit of sanding in there now. Darn it. That's pretty much set in now, so it ain't moving now. That's where it's staying. Sand it. Glass that strip in. Sand that. Filler it. You know, it really don't matter too much. Pretty much set in place now. Every time I touch that top bit, it pushes it back out the bottom, so I think that's setting up nicely now. I'll let that set for a second. Get some more filler in there, mix up a bit more for that inside, and that's job's a good one. Now I can start making the end plate. That is in. That ain't going nowhere now. It feels like it's held up. It's squidged up into place. It's not moving. And it's holding up on its own. So I'll mix up that resin on the top and let it set up till it went grey. Once it goes grey, I know it's pretty close to setting. And I was using that basically to hold it in place. If I'd have put it up while it was all still blue, I'd have to hold it in place until it's set, or it would just keep dropping. In a radius at the back there, I just need to build that up a wee bit. A smaller amount, I don't need as much catalyst in this one. And this isn't holding it up, this is just to shape the radius on that back edge ready for glassing. So it's of no structural importance really, it's just for the glassing purposes. I can't glass around a 90-degree bend. Actually, what I did have was some of the old tongue spreaders. I could only remember where I put them. That would be perfect for sticking in there rather than using my finger, wouldn't they? So this stuff sort of goes from a bluey colour to a greeny grey once the catalyst mixed in. And as it starts going off, it's greyer and greyer like that. So you can tell how quick it's going off when you're using it by the colour it's at. And obviously, like anything with these, when you're using polyester resin or epoxy, vinyl esters, whatever you're using, once you've added the catalyst, you know, you've only got a certain amount of working time before they start to go off. But like I say, yeah, with this stuff, you can actually see when it's starting to go off by the colour. You know, once you add that catalyst, it starts changing colour. Same as the polyester resin. Quite often they're like pinky colour or greeny colours or whatever, stuff like that. And you add your catalyst and they start changing colour. And you know that you know, you've had one, you know, you've added your catalyst, it's in there, and two, you know it's starting to go off. And quite often as they go off more and more, you'll get a more pronounced colour change. I've got some tongue spreaders somewhere, but I have no idea where I've put them. So I'll just quickly think on my feet here. This ain't a perfect radius for what I want. It's just to help me out getting it into the corners. So as long as I put my finger in there, the problem is I can't really see what I'm doing. I'll run my finger down it. Oh, you know, once I've done what I'm doing, I've got to get this in there before it sets, and without my big hands keep knocking the piece off the wall, basically. I'm trying to stick my big hands in there, I'm liable to knock it about. Push on it too hard, and then it's going to move and set in the wrong place, isn't it? Oh, I know. I know what's happening. That actually ain't too bad for a radius. I'm pretty happy with that. Well, so I did buy some tongue spreaders for this purpose. First lot of resin's set up now, that's gone hard, so no more doing anything with that. That is done. Now this second lot is going over the top of it. I'm trying to just take out any areas, sort of build it up a bit so I've got less sanding to do really. Oh, awkward with that. Way. A little bit down that front edge there. Right, going in. Can't go across in one clean swipe. Can't quite reach that there. So. Not bad. And sometimes you just leave it alone, but you just keep touching it. Like when I was doing that bit, I knew I should have left it alone. I kept touching it and I've ended up pulling it off again. But you can't help yourself, can you? You just have to do it. You keep going, trying to get it better and better, looking for perfection. You end up ruining it half the time, so now he went to leave it and walk away. I'm pretty much at that stage now. I'm just having a look, for anything I've missed now. I've got the radius right, but that's a lot of sanding on that bit above it, so I'm just going to smooth that out. Like where you run your spreader through, you get the bit that comes out the sides. Leaves a big line. That's it. Leave it alone, Dave. Leave it. Leave it. Leave it. Leave. Stay. Steady. Come on. Right. So this is starting to dry now, but it's not set. It's not cured. So whilst it's not cured, I can still put a bit more filler over the top of that, smoothing that off a wee bit, means less sanding, because this whole area was all sanded and prepped to do this, so it's all been acetoned, everything's ready to set this in place. So I can literally put stuff on here now. I'm not got to worry about it. Use up the last of my stuff. Smooth that out. When that all gets sanded and glassed, it'll just make life a bit easier to deal with that if there's no holes between the two sections, no low spots to deal with, voids. It's going grey now, so I ain't got long, and this lot will be gone as well. So the last little bit of stuff to use up there. Level that out, ready to sand and then glass it. I could glass it while it's still wet, but to be honest, it's not the right shape. I think I need to let it set up, sand it to shape how I want it, then glass it in place. Don't want any left in there, because that will affect shutting the door. Not bad. A bit of wastage there. Do I need it anywhere else? In there. That's it. All done. Not bad. It can go. Not bad at all. So yeah, so we'll sand that down once it's set up. Put some glass in there, a little strip down the middle. Refair it all in so it's all blended so it looks like one cupboard. That's the theory. Job's a good one. Right. I've got to make another end cap for this now. Get that cut out and stuck in. We can stick the next one in. I wonder if I can get that done today. Be nice to get both of them stuck in. That's take look, best part of an hour to do that. Look, that's me done an hour. Right, there you go. Second one in. Make the end cap. Get the next one stuck in. But for now, bit of lunch, I think.